Roger Brooke Taney was the fifth Chief Justice of the United States, holding that office from 1836 until his death in 1864. He delivered the majority opinion in Dred Scott v. Sandford, ruling that African Americans could not be considered citizens and that Congress could not prohibit slavery in the territories of the United States. Prior to joining the Supreme Court, Taney served as the United States Attorney General and United States Secretary of the Treasury. Under President Andrew Jackson, he was the first ever Catholic to serve on the Supreme Court. Taney was born into a wealthy, slave-owning family in Calvert County, Maryland. He won election to the Maryland House of Delegates as a member of the Federalist Party, but later broke with the party over the War of 1812. After switching to the Democratic Party, Taney was elected to the Maryland Senate in 1816. He emerged as one of the most prominent attorneys in the state and was appointed as the Attorney General of Maryland in 1827. Taney supported Andrew Jackson's presidential campaigns in 1824 and 1828, and he became a member of Jackson's Democratic Party. After a cabinet shake-up in 1831, President Jackson appointed Taney as his Attorney General. Taney became one of the most important members of Jackson's cabinet and played a major role in the Bank War. Beginning in 1833, Taney served as Secretary of the Treasury under a recess appointment, but his nomination to that position was rejected by the United States Senate. In 1835, after Democrats took control of the Senate, Jackson appointed Taney to succeed the late John Marshall on the Supreme Court as Chief Justice. He would be the first of 4 Democratic appointments to office of Chief Justice. Taney would preside over a jurisprudential shift toward states' rights. But the Taney Court did not reject federal authority to the degree that many of Taney's critics had feared. By the early 1850s, he was widely respected, and some elected officials looked to the Supreme Court to settle the national debate over slavery. He supported slavery, was outraged by Northern attacks on the institution, and he sought to use his Dred Scott decision to permanently remove slavery as a subject of national debate. His broad ruling deeply angered many Northerners and strengthened the anti-slavery Republican Party. And Republican Abraham Lincoln won the 1860 presidential election. After Lincoln's election, Taney sympathized with the seceding Southern states and blamed Lincoln for the war. But he did not resign from the Supreme Court. He strongly disagreed with President Abraham Lincoln's broader interpretation of executive power in the American Civil War. In ex parte Merriman, Taney held that the president could not suspend the writ of habeas corpus. Lincoln retaliated to the ruling by invoking non-acquiescence. Taney later tried to hold one of Lincoln's generals in contempt of court, and the Lincoln administration again invoked non-acquiescence in response. Taney finally relented, claiming, "I have exercised all the power which the Constitution and laws confer on me, but that power has been resisted by a force too strong for me to overcome." Taney died in 1864, and Lincoln appointed Salmon P. Chase as his successor. At the time of Taney's death in 1864, he was widely reviled in the North, and Lincoln declined to make a public statement in response to his death. He continues to have a controversial historical reputation, and his Dred Scott ruling is widely considered to be the worst Supreme Court decision ever made. Taney was born in Calvert County, Maryland on March 17, 1777, to Michael Taney V and Monica Brooke Taney. Taney's ancestor, Michael Taney I, had settled in Maryland from England in 1660. He and his family established themselves as prominent Catholic landowners. As Roger Taney's older brother, Michael Taney V, was expected to inherit the family's plantation, Taney's father encouraged him to study law. At the age of 15, Taney was sent to Dickinson College, where he studied ethics, logic, languages, mathematics, and other subjects. After graduating from Dickinson in 1796, he read law under Judge Jeremiah Townley Chase in Annapolis. Taney was admitted to the Maryland bar in 1799. In 1844, Taney was elected as a member to the American Philosophical Society. Taney married Annie Phoebe Charlton Key, sister of Francis Scott Key, On January 7, 1806, they had 6 daughters together. Though Taney himself remained a Catholic, all of his daughters were raised as members of Anne's Episcopal Church. Taney rented an apartment during his years of service with the federal government. But he and his wife maintained a permanent home in Baltimore. After Annie died in 1855, Taney and 2 of his unmarried daughters moved permanently to Washington, D.C. after gaining admission to the state bar. Taney established a successful legal practice in Frederick, Maryland. At his father's urging, he ran for the Maryland House of Delegates as a member.